Citizenship Act of Ghana established a criteria for determining who is a citizen of Ghana. And one important criteria is a person is a citizen of Ghana if he was born before 6th of March 1957 to parents or grandparents who were born, not citizens, who were, because there was no Ghana, who were born within the territorial confines of the present-day Ghana. So you need to take cognizance of those people. And to be able to establish their citizenship, you need a birth certificate.
Yes.
To show that, well, they were born and their parents were born within the confines.
Yes.
So this is one class of people. Another class of people are people who were born in areas that did not have the birth and death registry, but they had churches. And they were baptized in those churches. And the churches gave them what?
Baptismal certificates.
Yes, baptismal certificates. Because Ghana is a developing country. So you need those documents to establish. Even before the National Identification Authority was established, in or between 1969 and 1971, Buzia had started the Citizens Identity Card. People still have it today. So you need people to demonstrate that they are Ghanaians because they had been identified as Ghanaians. You have those of us who are privileged to have gone to school and who are public servants or who travel. So you need passports. Now today, we are re-establishing the National Identity Register. And so we have the National Identification Authority. They are issuing cards. You need those cards. Now, so in 1992, and then there are people who did not have the benefit of education, who were born to parents who never had the benefit of education, who have no indication.
So who never had birth certificates, who never had baptismal certificates, who never had passports.
So you need people, and it was in even the old law of the NIA, you need assemblymen or chiefs to come vouch for them that they are Ghanaians. So that's how you collect evidence of citizenship in a developing country like Ghana. Then we had the 1992 register. It was a black and white. The picture was black and white. Then after the
1992, there was no picture.
There was a picture, black and white.
1992.
Yes, black and white.
The picture came beyond the 96.
Yeah, the picture came after.
Okay, so there was no.
So the pictures came.
Well,
after.
so if there was no picture, well, I can't immediately remember.
There was no picture.
Okay, if there was no picture, so we collected. So we needed a picture. So when we were transiting from no picture, assuming, but I'll have to go and check, to a picture, we needed those who had evidence that they were voters. We needed them to submit their voter ID card as evidence that they are Ghanaians. To transit, to migrate them onto the voter ID card of the picture. So that was. I don't think.
You're still laying the foundation for the basis of the resistance.
Well, yes.
In 1996, the Attorney General even refused to allow the picture ID card.
Please. So please. Then we went. We are past there. We are past there. Laying the foundation. Then when we were transiting from the black and white to color, you needed the black and white onto the color. When we were transferring from the color to biometric, you needed the voter register to transit from color register to a biometric register. And that is why in the Abu Ramadan case, the Chief Justice then, George Wood, said an old voter's identity card is the best prima facie evidence of eligibility
has been argued.
Well, I don't think that we are in court. I'm quoting a decision, a dictum of the judge.
The judge said it has been argued.
It has been argued. I've read the judgment, not it has been argued.
Very well, you go on.
I've read it. And there's no foundation that it has been argued.
Go on.
That it is the best prima facie evidence of citizenship onto the voter ID card, onto a new voter ID card. Now, you find the MPP, they come into being, and I want to tell you
mean they come into office. I mean, because
they come into office. And I was very encouraged when I heard that my colleague lawyer, Boabian Samoa, was coming to the place. Because it's a right to vote. It's a fundamental right to vote. And because it's a right to vote, every opportunity must be given to people to get onto the
So you don't put in place systems that will seek to disenfranchise people. That's the basis of the whole.
You don't put in place systems that will seek to disenfranchise people. And when I see lawyers arguing the way some lawyers are arguing, then I have great fear. Look, so that's the first legal point. That look, the mechanisms for determining citizenship of this country has been constructed in such a way that it will operate to disenfranchise people.
That's what you think the Electoral Commission is doing.
Yes, that's what it's doing. Because the National Identity Authority is still registering.
They have Eastern Region to cover.
They have Eastern Region, they have Western Region to cover. They have said they are going to do a mop-up. Which law or which practice will embolden a state institution to put on its CI or document a condition precedent for registration onto the voter ID card?
That has not been
completed. A card that has not been completed. A registration process that has not been completed. It's not absurd. What about if they fail to complete? What happens? 2, my brother, today as we sit, myself and Boabian Samoa are members of parliament. If there is a by-election in parliament today, which voter ID card are we going to use? The current voter ID card. The only reason why the Electoral Commission is embarking on this absurd path is for the re-election of Nana Akufo-Addo.
But that's not fair, because the Electoral Commission is not operating to ensure that one particular political divide wins.
Let me demonstrate to you why it is so. Number 1, you have an existing document. You know, the voter ID card is a legal instrument. It's a document. It's legal. It has its basis in the Constitution. The institution that issued the voter ID card is still the same institution that is compiling the register, or that intends to compile a register. That institution says that for the purposes of keeping the status quo, we are going to use the old register. But for the purposes of 2020 elections, we are going to use a new register.
What exactly does that mean?
That means...
Which is the status quo?
The status quo is anything that happens between now and 7th December, which requires elections.
That's speculative.
That's what is speculative.
That's speculative.
No.
Speculative.
Do we have any other...
The reality we have now is that...
Please.
2020 is ahead of us.
No, please. You are simplifying this argument.
Have you even begun?
Let me tell you.
It's speculative.
It's not speculative. Which register do we have now? Which register, Boabian Samoa, do we have now?
So you are presuming...
So, no. Which register do we have now?
So when we get...
So if there is a by-election, which register are we going to use? Is it not common sense?
There is no by-election.
No, is it not common sense?
Is about to be compiled.
No, is it not common sense?
No by-election.
Is it not common sense?
It's a speculative...
It's just common sense. It's just common sense.
Totally speculative.
No, it's just common sense.
It's speculative.
So you see, this Electoral Commission, first of all, has put on the register a national ID card, which is not okay. So it's my argument that if there's a by-election, we will use the new current register is speculative. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission, a state institution, putting on the CI
A requirement.
a requirement for an NIA card is also
Matter of law. It's before the parliament. Yes.
Honorable Sensei, I need you to wrap up the basis of the resistance because we're talking about the reason why the resistance has been stiff and consistent and pushing towards the deadline of June and July.
Opposition is stiff and strong because what they are simply doing doesn't accord with common sense and good reasoning. It doesn't accord. And the cards that they are using, the primary documents that they have stated to be used for registration, have just demonstrated that the National ID card, National Identity Authority is still issuing. They have not completed their process. They have not verified the process, the cards, and completed and certified that they have issued. Meanwhile, it's a requirement. They have, as we speak today, they say they have issued about 7,000 cards, or 7 million cards, 7 million cards. The the passport, which is also a requirement, is limited to less people, probably about 2 million people in this country. And the people, the propensity of the people having the voter ID card and the national identification card is higher. So it means that one person can have both. So the fact that you have 2 million passports and 7 million voter ID card says nothing. That says nothing about the number of people who can get onto the register. Now, to fill a passport, to fill for a passport, you require to demonstrate that you have a birth certificate. You also require, or if you don't have a birth certificate, you require to demonstrate that you have a voter ID card. It is the basis, the primary documents to entitle you to a passport. Now, the Electoral Commission says, oh, no, we don't want the birth certificate. We don't even want the voter ID card. We want the passport. You see the absurdity in the reasoning? Why are they doing all these things? They are doing all these things because somehow they have come to the fatally absurd position that the register is bloated. So absurd. They only say it, they have never demonstrated how the electoral register is bloated. And we say, look, why will you invest? In 1992, we invested money in compiling the register. We have since been investing money in the compilation of the register. Even up to just last year, we invested a lot of money in the compilation of the register. Why are we throwing it away?
The EC still says that his equipment are obsolete and they need new ones. And
well, we're not talking about equipment. We're not talking about equipment. So don't get confused by the MPP and the Electoral Commission. We're not talking about equipment. We're talking about,
don't get confused.
We're talking about data.
I'm not confused.
We're talking about data. Where's been demonstrated to you why you shouldn't be confused? You have a phone. I have a phone, iPhone 10 Plus. The chip that I have contains data. If my iPhone is out of date, I mean my Samsung is out of date, I throw away the equipment. I change the equipment. I don't change the data. What we are arguing is that the compilation of a register, those on the register, is data.
Right.
It's not equipment.
So, Honorable Fuseini, so the key point now is that
it's data.
The resistance will continue. So is the NDC ever going to make the Electoral Commission come to that point of doing its job and going ahead with the conduct of this year's election?
When you have an Electoral Commission, the commissioners of who are wearing the jerseys of one of the players in the game, and the flanks of the pitch are occupied by officers of the commission. you will have to think twice.
You have such distrust for.
You have to think twice before you enter into a game where the commissioner has a red card wearing the JC.
So on what condition would you take part in the election? Is your party going to take part in the election?
Well, our party will advise itself when it comes to that. I mean, I've been told that we are so spiritually attached to the register, and indeed we are, because that is the basis.
So you might boycott the election?
That is the basis of entering and competing in elections.
You might boycott the
when
elections?
an electoral register is compromised in such a way as to limit the opportunity available to other parties to contest evenly in the election, you have to have worry.
So you may boycott the elections.
When we get there, we'll cross it. But we will resist, and I'm saying that we will resist until the compilation.
You will resist until there is no election?
With our blood.
That's serious.
Yes, I'm telling you.
So, Honorable Bobby Samuel, I need a quick reaction. I know that it's not fair for me to react to everything Honorable Inusah Fuseini has said, but you've seen the opposition to the compilation of the voters register. The reasoning have been given by both parties. The parties who are against the compilation, civil society groups. It's not like only NDC is opposed to the compilations, and reasons have been given. But the MPP is for the compilation of the new voters register for reasons you can tell us. But hearing from Inusah Fuseini, he makes quite a number of clear senses and reasoning, which we shouldn't forget. I mean, from the constitutional basis and the foundation he gave to the point that the Electoral Commission is seeking to eliminate the use of the birth certificate, for example, and stick to national ID card and passports. And the national ID cards, not everyone has them. The passports, not everyone has them. It looks like the Electoral Commission is aware that many people might not be able to put their names on the voters register if it continues like that.
Thank you very much. I will, first of all, let me say a very good morning to your viewers who are listening and watching us this morning. And in particular, let me float special greetings to my constituency. My honorable colleague is not running again, so he doesn't have to go through the motions.
He doesn't need the courtesies of his constituents.
So I have to do the courtesies and do them properly. So Adentan constituency is watching, and I'm still yet to win my primaries, and I'm sure the primaries will come, and I'm sure the general election will happen. I'll take off from the last three sentences or two questions and a conclusion that Honorable Inusah. First of all, you asked whether the NDC would allow the EC to do its work. There wasn't a clear answer. And then you asked whether the NDC would boycott the election. Again, there was no clear answer. And then he concluded by saying they would resist with their blood if necessary. Let it be clear. Under the 1992 Constitution, every political party, organization, beyond political party, civil society organization has a right to an opinion. And that opinion can be canvassed as stridently as the organization wishes, with force, with vim, to the extent that you can have demonstrations, you can have press conferences, you can be on TV, on radio, traditional media, you can go to court, and interestingly, you can also boycott a process that you don't believe in. What you don't have liberty to do is to use violence to undermine the Constitution. No political party, and let us understand it this morning straight off the bat, that no political party, no organization in this country has a right to undermine our peace and stability with its self-imposition of violence on the system. When you are not entitled to use violence to undermine the system.
Becomes the rule. resistance.
Who determines injustice?
Resistance.
Who determines injustice? The court.
That is how
the only injustice is determined with this document. This is the document that rules all of us, and the only injustice is in this document.
When we're fighting for
this document determines justice or injustice, and it is in the Supreme Court.
When we were fighting for independence, there was no justice. There was no document.
So now
when Ghanaians were fighting for independence, there was no document. There were documents.
The new Patriotic Party.
The one of 1844
the
was
new Patriotic Party has had 3 strikes. 3 strikes under this constitution. 3 strikes, as the baseball people say. Strike 1 was in 1992, when we had a presidential election separate from a parliamentary election. After the presidential election, the new Patriotic Party decided that we had been cheated. The new Patriotic Party decided there wasn't going to be a fair parliamentary election. So what did we do? We didn't pick up guns. We didn't shed blood. We didn't throw away the constitution we didn't agree with, because this constitution was passed under desperately mysterious circumstances. And you are aware, on April 28th, 1992, we were forced to take on a constitution which included indemnity clauses and funny other clauses which you imposed on us. We took it. We didn't undermine the new constitution. What we did was that we boycotted the parliamentary election.
So you're saying the NDC can choose to boycott rather than continue to resist openly in the media and other platforms?
In 2012, they have a right to resist everything. I'm saying that it ends at violence. They have a right to do anything, but it ends at violence. They cannot use violence to threaten the stability of this state, the peace of this wonderful nation, and undermine a process that everybody believes in. That's what I'm saying. In 2012, when the NPP decided that we had been hard done by, in the election of 2012, we didn't pick up cudgels. We didn't pick up cutlasses. We didn't distribute guns. We went to the Supreme Court of Ghana. And for 8 months, the president we were challenging even refused to come to court. Never stepped there once to even say good morning to the bench. The Supreme Court, and that is what this constitution says. So end it there. The Supreme Court decided that we were wrong and that the president should stay. We are in this studio today because responsible political party as we were, we accepted the verdict, even though the chief petitioner said he disagreed with the conclusion. Just
as you accepted the verdict for Nana Akufo-Addo winning by 1 million with the same voters register.
In 2016, somebody even lost an eye in demonstrations against this constitution. And you are aware, Mr. Ante, the agitation from 2012 right through to 2016. Yet, when finally the Electoral Commissioner decided that she was going to go ahead with the election with the old register we were disputing, we, the new Patriotic Party, accepted it and hunkered down and participated in the election and did quality job.
And you won the election by 1 million votes.
Correct.
So why do you have to support the change of the register?
Please. He was all over the place. We are educating people. Don't jump. Stay focused. Inusah Fuseini says then that what? They will resist with their blood. And he starts from Article 42. They are already in court over Article 42. This humorous argument about one register. Then we have had one register since 1963. We probably have had one register since we started the provincial. Since we started the provincial.
This is an argument of a serial caller. Don't make that argument. You are a lawyer. Please.
The EC.
Please.
The EC has a duty to deliver the means by which you vote. The register. It's a duty. It's a constitutional duty. If you want to challenge it, take it to court. The voter, Article 42 gives you a right to vote. That right will be truncated if you don't have the duty of the EC in place. But you are not compelled by law to vote. You can boycott. You can boycott. It's an option. So when you asked whether the NDC will boycott if they are unhappy with the EC's duty to put in place a register, you asked a very solid question, and they are able to answer. Now let's go forward to this business about the register and credibility and blah, blah, blah. Let me also make a few points there. He's talking about the NIA numbers. We also have the numbers. 10 million people. Are they all NDC people? Are they all NDC
We're
people?
not talking about NDC.
Exactly. So
The
why is
Constitution
the
says
NDC?
every
What
citizen-
makes you think that those citizens don't have means of registration?
Because I expect to
the
be a human rights
NDC is insisting for other people who have means of registration.
No.
I
expect it to be a human rights lawyer here.
Please.
I don't expect you to
It's
argue
not
that
about.
way.
It's not. We are looking at the political future, and it includes the rights of everybody in this country. It's not about human rights law. It's about the duty of the EC to deliver an election, and that duty we should participate responsibly in getting it done. There are 4 means of getting on the register that the EC has proposed. It's in Parliament now. He is going to be in that committee to debate it. I am in that committee. The EC says you can bring a passport. You can bring a Ghana card. You can have a family member vouch for you. And you can have 2 others who are not your family.
No, the family member is not there.
Vouch
No
for you.
family member voucher. There are 3. You have
So-
an ID card, a passport.
So there are means of getting registered.
And the person who has to vouch for you actually needs to come with you to the registration center. That's
No, even that one.
That's something else.
Let us look
And
at the
that
mechanics.
person should be a registered
Failing
voter.
the EC is their business.
What
It's
would
not my
be
business.
used to
What they
determine
have
the person
brought
being a
before the
registered voter?
committee is what we will interrogate. And when the committee interrogates them, they will be there in committee. That is the due process. That is lawful. That is organized. That is within the confines of this constitution.
So you don't think that the EC is making the process too cumbersome for people to get onto the register with
I
these
am not in a
requirements?
position
You won't answer that question.
to think beyond the EC having
think
said
beyond
that
his
we are
nose.
going to do it.
To think beyond his
Whatever
nose.
I think, whatever I believe, once the EC has determined that it is going to deliver the register, it is my civic duty under this constitution to obey. I am not going to shed blood and destroy the state because my opinion is not what the EC is taking. And that is why the NDC is faulting all this country. The NDC in opposition has become the Electoral Commission. The NDC in opposition has become the Supreme Court. The NDC in opposition has become the conscience of this nation. The NDC in opposition is insisting that unless the whole of Ghana does what they insist must be done, the country should burn.
You think the NDC is not compromising at all? Same as the NDP is
Listen
not
to the
compromising.
Electoral
because-
Commissioner of the NDC era. This is a parliamentary report. 2015, December, Special Budget Committee. I was in the parliament. He was. Page 5, paragraph 7.4. Following complaints, this is a Charlotte Commission. Following complaints from some stakeholders on the quality of the voters' register, the Commission will take the requisite steps to ensure a credible register prior to the general elections. So that Commission accepted that the register was not credible. They accepted. It was not credible. Now, listen to the kicker. Various means have been proposed by stakeholders and are currently under consideration. That exercise of cleaning the register never took place satisfactorily. It never did. Satisfactorily. It
And you
never
won
did.
elections of it. You should have boycotted
We
it.
had a parallel tabulation. You are in government, you are sitting down thinking that everything was good. We engaged on the basis of our lessons from 2013.
What did you
and we
tabulate?
were alert.
What did you
I
tabulate?
participated
Oh,
in
no,
that
you are
election. and I won.
trivializing his presentation.
What did he tabulate? He tabulated
Parallel
the votes.
tabulation from the polling
What
stations.
did you tabulate?
And
You
where was your
tabulated-
electoral director?
Look, you tabulated.
You were standing
the
on
votes
platform
of those who
C,
were entitled to vote.
and you thought that the election was
understand?
yours.
And those who were entitled
Please,
to
let me
vote
make my
were from
argument.
the register.
Right,
Let me make my argument.
Let's
What
see.
kind of argument is this?
Let's
The
make
peace
on.
and stability of this country is non-negotiable.
What kind of
It's a
argument is this?
value. Peace is an intrinsic, innate human value that we all pursue. It has no cost. Now, fast forward. That register that was discredited by Charlotte Osei herself. As far back as 2015, going into the 2016 election, that discredited register, you come to the report of the Special Budget Committee 2018. 2018. And the Parliamentary Committee listens to the chairperson of the EC, the new chairperson. The chairperson of the commission informed the committee that the BVRs and BVDs required for the registration of voters and for the conduct of elections have become obsolete, as they have gone beyond their lifespan and needed to be replaced. Now, the arguments about the register being obsolete, being necessary, being new and all that were made long before 2020, long before COVID, long before. Now, highlights of the Electoral Commission's budget in 2018. Not the money, but what was supposed to happen to that register as far back as 2018, and which will have to happen now if we are going to use the so-called old register.
There's no old register.
Thank you.
We're going to use the
I'm glad you accept that there is no old register.
If we are going to use the
That's what your people say. Your people say the old register.
I'm not
take the old register. Take the old register.
I'm not arguing like you are arguing. Because you're a lawyer, you should argue.
For this purpose, I'm arguing as an obedient servant of Ghana, not a lawyer.
No.
We didn't come here to argue as lawyers. I was invited here as the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party.
I never know that you are arguing.
Composition of BVR kits: embedded laptop computer, webcam, fingerprint scanner, color printer, printer cartridges, power extension cord, plastic case. This is just the BVR kits. That's the biometric voter registration kits. It has other components. Now, scope of refurbishment. This is 2018. Cleaning and sorting the kits takes time. Replacement of mobile printers, new equipment. Replacement of external battery packs with new equipment. New flash drive and SD card. Consumables for printer. Replacement, repair of laptop. Many of the laptops are beyond repair. 2018. Then it has the figures for repair. Those arguments have been made. Isn't it? In 2019, I am going through the chronology. He chose to start from independence, proving citizenship. I'm telling you the journey the register has taken through the lawful channels.
For which you support the compilation.
Yes, for which we have been pushing. For which we have been pushing. And for which Charlotte accepted as far back as 2015 that the register was not credible. In the 2020 budget, EC proposed to replace the voters register. It is clear that they all along were consistent with their position. When is this conspiracy, humongous conspiracy between the NPP, EC, NIA, when was it supposed to have started? Yesterday? When did the NPP realize that we have to sit in a secret dark room and conspire in order to win an election that, as at now, we have so desperate a situation with COVID? We conspired pre-COVID, during COVID, or post-COVID. A responsible political party makes such arguments to the public. We sit here and talk about lawyers and non-lawyers. Please, let us look at it critically. One, cost. As we sit here, repairing the old register. I've already listed some of the items on the BVR. Cost money. It costs money. And does that mean that having procured new equipment at cost, you are going to abandon the new equipment and go back and procure old, obsolete equipment that is not being manufactured? And from where in this COVID era? Are you going to get that equipment from? Manufacture it where? Here in Ghana? Repair the stuff with sellotape in Ghana? So, costs, whether you are using the existing stroke old,
there will be cost.
There will be cost. And in fact, it is going to be double cost because procurement processes have been invested in for the acquisition of the new one. But what is the cost of peace? Incalculable. Incalculable. So you cannot sit here and say that if the cost is not taken according to your notion of the existing new register with repairs and otherwise, you will resist it with your blood.
No, he didn't say that.
But that is what he said. He said blood. Blood. He used the word blood.
You see.
He said blood.
You see, I
haven't finished. I haven't finished. So we are headed on a path of double cost, as the NDC wants us to do now. Time. The cost analysis impacts time as well, because you still need to go back, engage the old vendors of the equipment who have all the proprietary rights and who have already told you that the equipment is obsolete and beyond its shelf life and it's not being manufactured, to find how they are going to restart a manufacturing process to replace the old laptops and things that cannot work. It's been refurbished twice. It was refurbished for the DLE. It's refurbished for the, what do you call it?
Referendum? The by-elections?
The referendum.
District level elections.
Which gave us 16 regions. Are you saying that because of that it will not be refurbished for this election? That election which will carry over 14 million people? It has to be in tip-top shape. Then you avoid the situation where Honorable Amabua had 500 people who were registered and the system failed and he was going to sue the EC, thinking that they deliberately left those people out. They didn't. So what happens if you use the old equipment and on election day, Inusah Fuseini goes to his polling station and his name is not...
So it does appear to me that
Let me finish the time argument. It's very important. So whether you use the existing old register or the new one, you have a time constraint. Because there too, you have to import equipment which doesn't exist on the market anymore. You have to refurbish, clean your systems.
I'll give you 2 minutes to wrap up.
And you have to install software. It's a time matter. And it will mean abandoning everything you've done up to now on the new register and going back to start a process. That probably is more time consuming than what we think. So if we have material that is available, that is in process, that is being brought to bear now, why can't we be constructive in the face of COVID? We have a situation which has been imposed on us by force majeure, circumstances none of us believed would have happened. COVID. Pre-COVID, we had the luxury of engaging the NDC and arguing, new, old, cost, time, new. We were arguing. But during COVID, because we don't even know post-COVID. We don't know post-COVID. We don't know whether COVID is going to be eliminated, uprooted entirely before the world becomes normal, or we have to live with the new normal where we live with COVID. We don't know. But we know that if by December 2020 we don't vote, this way of life may collapse. Because if we don't agree now, 7th January 2021, we will not